What's going on, you guys? It's Scott from Fly Rides. I am out in Foothill Ranch today because I have been given the incredible opportunity to come out to the new Bosch headquarters and try out the 2020 Bosch motors. Oh my gosh, am I stoked. We're gonna have a lot more going on in this video for you as well, just some of the new tech that they have coming out. You guys have all heard, I'm sure, about the new Bosch Performance CX and the new Bosch Performance Speed, along with the cargo line specific, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff they have as well. Some of the kiosk display upgrades, of course the Bosch 625 battery, and there's something really cool I wanna show you guys called the smartphone hub. But I'm gonna get to ride it as well. Don't be too jealous. I'm gonna tell you all about it. Watch on, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and let us know what you thought of it. If you have any questions, I am very excited to talk about this experience with people. All right, let's get into it. So guys, we're here with Steven from Bosch. He is going to walk us through what the motors are capable of this year. I'm sure a lot of you have seen some other videos about the motors. I've got a little bit more detail, I think, and we're also going to talk about some other stuff too that I haven't seen featured anywhere yet. Steven just shared it with me today, and I'm super stoked on it. There's a smartphone hub, some really cool new features for the kiosk display that we'll talk about, but let's talk about the motors.
Sure. Yeah, we have a whole number of new drive units for model year 20. We'll start with the CX. You'll notice, first of all, this is a lot smaller than the previous version. In fact, it's nearly 50% less volume than the previous CX. It's also 25% lighter, so we've shaved an entire kilogram off of this system.
So I just had to stop my guy Steven for a second and let you guys know what that means. This means automatically there are going to be shorter chainstays this year, so you can stop complaining about that from Bosch. Just kidding. I think it might have been a valid complaint. They're going to be much more agile bikes this year with these smaller motors and also lighter weight motors. It's 2.2 pounds it's shaving off. In a sport where weight can mean everything, this is a huge improvement.
So what's new also on the CX, in addition to the size and weight, is it now uses a regular crank, so regular cassette up front, a regular...
You were on 36 teeth before, right? Yeah. So we had a chain ring in the front.
A regular chain ring up front.
I guess what is the biggest chain ring you can get on there?
So that's up to you. That's up to you. There's various standard chain rings up front. This one also, it is 75 Newton meters of power, but it'll assist you up to 340% of your input. So that's an increase.
Which is up from 300.
Up from 300
that's
before.
Great,
yeah. And the CX, it's, as previous, it's a class 1 drive unit, means it's pedal assist only, and it goes up to 20 miles per hour of support.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You were telling me the CX2, so, and I didn't know this about, we'll talk about like the power curves and stuff. Basically, this motor's it's tuned differently than the speed motor in that it's more out the gate power as opposed to the speed motor, which offers more power from like 20 to 28 miles per hour. Is that an update for this year, or is that how it's always been?
So it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
So it's a continual optimization of the system through the software and the hardware. And the CX, it's really specialized for off-road. It's designed for mountain biking, and so you need that power right off the get-go if you're stopped on an incline, and this helps you do that in a very natural, smooth way.
Okay.
You'll notice the difference. You noticed the difference on our ride earlier today.
Yeah.
So it's very in turbo. It's giving you a high level of assist that feels excellent, and then in EMTB, it's a little bit more playful. Allows you to interact with the terrain a bit more and gives you assistance only there where you need it. Nice. So. Yeah, it's an awesome drive unit. We believe this is the benchmark.
It was fantastic out there. I gotta say though, I think Bosch Performance line speed motors have always been my favorite for commuting. So tell me a little bit more about this new one.
Yeah.
There's some crazy cool upgrades on this here.
Okay, so Performance line speed, similar shape and form factor as CX. It's different, of course, on the software and the way it functions. This will go up to 28 miles an hour, so it's a class 3 e-bike, e-bike drive system. And what's new this year is it also has that 75 Newton meters of torque, similar to the CX.
Okay, I just want to make sure you guys understand what he just said. You're getting the same amount of torque, 75 Newton meters, on the Bosch Performance Speedline as you do on the CX. That means there is no more conversation about, whether or not you should get the speed motor. If you want a 28 mile per hour motor, you are going to get the same amount of power. This is a huge update. The 2019 performance speed motor only had 63 Newton meters of torque, and most 28 mile per hour motors do compromise a little bit in the power that it delivers to you normally. Now there is no compromise for getting a 28 mile per hour motor. This is huge, you guys. This probably makes the Bosch Performance Speedline motor the only 28 mile per hour motor that is really worth looking at. Let's get back to it.
But it gives you that power in a different way than the CX. So whereas on the CX you want that power early, if you're starting from a stop or all of a sudden coming up to a steep hill, on the speed, you need some power up front to get you started, but you're usually where you really need the power is maintaining that high speed. So the torque level sort of increases with the speed and levels out once you're into that sort of 20 to 28 mile per hour zone. That's when you're getting the biggest torque, because that's where you really need it to sustain that level. Yeah, so
that's awesome,
it's and this again will also do that 340% assist level similar to the CX.
Both of these, I'm going to reiterate this during the ride video, but when you reach the limit, like the governor essentially, it really has made a huge difference, these updates, in pushing past 20 or 28 miles per hour. It's like way easier this year. I was very, very impressed.
Yeah,
so.
Minimal resistance, it's super smooth.
It's something I've heard from like the other videos and stuff, but getting to try it, I was like, okay, yeah, it's legit.
Yeah.
Like it's like anybody can say it, but getting to try it, I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Which you'll see in a second. We don't have a cargo line one, but that's like super cool.
Yeah. So the cargo. So I can tell you a little bit about cargo. Basically, if you take the CX and the Speed, for each of these we have a cargo version.
Okay.
So similar shape and appearance. And the cargo version, what it does differently is it'll assist you up to 400%. And that's just at the beginning of your ride. So with the cargo bike, you need that assistance to get all that weight and the mass of the e-bike up to speed. But once you're moving, you don't need that much assist. So it sort of starts out high and comes down once you're getting up to higher speeds. And the cargo bike, also available in a speed version, but with similar characteristics, gives you that speed up front and then sort of tapers off at the higher speeds. And the cargo also has a function that it can tell through the sensors whether you've got a full load on the cargo bike or an empty load. So imagine you're carrying 400 pounds of whatever that you're delivering, and then you've delivered that load, and all of a sudden you're on a much lighter bike. The bike needs to be able to respond to different loads. So when you've got a heavier load, it's going to give you more support and back off to a little bit more of a more natural feel when it's empty. So
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another new unit is the performance line. So the new performance line, it has a similar casing, a similar outer design as our Active Line and Active Line Plus. The internals are much different though. So this is going to give you that 65 Newton meters. So what you're used to before from the performance line, but it has those advantages that we developed with the Active Line Plus in that it's very quiet, very smooth, almost no resistance, so minimal resistance. When you get up to that 20 miles an hour, you don't feel any difference. And it's a bit lighter than before, a bit smaller than before, and this is a great system for a lot of people, for maybe lower price mountain bikes or even higher end city bikes where they just need a bit more torque than the Active Line. It's going to be a good fit for a lot of people.
And of course, everyone's very stoked about the Bosch 625 power tube coming out, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. I guess anything you want to tell us about that one?
We took the same award-winning design of the power tube, and we've expanded that range. So we launched the 500 last year, and this year we're adding the 400. Comes in at a bit lower price point on some e-bikes, and then the 625. So 625 is just a little bit longer, and but it gives you another 20% more power and 25% more power. So
So this is another big update that I think Steven's being very humble about, because I think it's pretty huge. Basically, you're getting a 400, a 500, and a 625 option for every power tube. So basically, you're gonna be able to choose from any of those. Why would you want a 400 or a 500? A lot of people don't feel like they need the extra range, especially on city commuting bikes and stuff like that. Also, the 400 and 500 are gonna be lighter weight. So if you want to keep it lightweight, you might want to stick with a 400 or 500. But if you want the 625 because you want that big juicy battery pack to kind of play with the big dogs in terms of range, then you can have that 625 option.
It's a great solution for some of those longer rides. You know, if you're doing a lot of time in turbo and want some more battery life, the 625 is a good option.
Cool. So we're gonna go ride these. So you're gonna see us ride these now. So they're top secret at this point, the bikes that they're on. So you're gonna see me on my GoPro footage. We're not gonna show you the motors on the bikes because we want, Steven wanted basically like the manufacturers to determine like how it's gonna look on the bike. So you're gonna get to see me riding it and my experience on it. Yeah, let's cut to that. And after that, we're going to show you guys something called the smartphone hub, which I'm really excited about, and some of the other display options from 2020. All right, let's check it out. Okay, guys, so as you can see down below right here, I am going to take these out for a spin. Right now, I'm going to be on the Performance Speed, the 2020 new one. Steven right there is going to be on the CX to start. Yeah, I'm already blown away by how small these are. And yeah, what you're seeing right here too, I'm gonna do a separate video on these probably, but this is called their smartphone hub. This is when Bosch took over COBI, basically what happened was they took over that design and made it significantly better. So now you can actually use the COBI system without your phone. So you don't need it in there because they're gonna give you essentially a little mini display. This feels so powerful to me right now. This is so cool. And I was on tour, that's incredible. So I was just on tour, guys, and so I commuted on a speed motor for about 6 months and almost always was in turbo. So I think I'm already feeling some weight difference here. This is great. Let's pop it up to turbo, see how we feel. Oh yeah. 26 on a climb, guys. Oh, it's up to kilometers. Let's see what we can do. We go right here? Cool. Quieter too, I think, right? So guys, we're gonna try these out on a climb here. I mean, yeah, this is just ridiculous. So there's no compromise anymore, guys. Basically, if you want the speed motor, you're not having to compromise any power or anything like that. You are able to get that 75 Newton meters of torque. Plus, I really cannot stress enough how just like lightweight and how much smaller these motors are. It's, when you guys see them on bikes, I think that's when it's really gonna be, when you can tell. It's a little bit harder to tell looking at them kind of just by themselves, but when you look at it on a bike, if you've seen Bosch motors before, you are gonna be blown away by it. It's incredible. Is this our straightaway here? Yep. Cool, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot. All right, guys, so I am still on the speed motor. I'm gonna try and push it past 28, see what we can do here. We're up to 45. All right, I just felt it shut off and I'm still gaining speed. That's awesome, up to 47 kilometers per hour. Hit 48 for a second there. I hope you can hear me. Woo! Yeah, okay. Definitely, that's dope. Okay, so how do I describe this to you guys? You come to expect certain things and then they just get better. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's, it really does disengage really well. That's like really nice. I was still gaining speed significantly past that 45 mark. Could definitely like feel, you know, if you felt it shut off, but then it was just super easy to keep going quick. So that's great, that's fantastic. Okay guys, I have tried the Speed Demon. It is time for me to go on the climbing beast right here. The new 2020 Performance Line CX. We swapped bikes, Steven and I did. Let's take it away, man. All right, let's do it. Going uphill. So sticking with the classic Purion on this one. Let's see what gear I was just in. So I was on gear 7 then, guys. Second from the highest, and literally could not have been less trouble starting up on the uphill. So in turbo right now, keeping it where it's at. Definitely got some nice extra power. So Steven was telling me the delivery of the torque is a little bit different. Oh, we're getting some trails here, cool. On the CX, it's really helping you on the climbs as opposed to when you're approaching 28, which the speed one is all about. Yeah, I mean, it is basically this one for me, it's as good as Bosch ever was, except for keep in mind you're gonna get way shorter chain stays now and just lighter weight bike. So is it 2 kilograms a kilogram that is taking it down automatically with that motor?
Yeah, a kilogram.
That's great. You can tell the mag casing is making a difference. I'm gonna see how quick I can climb here. I'd say we're on about a 12 to 13% grade here. Got it up to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Woo! So 16 mph uphill. That's great. Yeah, I think the main thing for me is the power delivery. It just, I don't know, I mean, Bosch is always a very responsive system, but I think it must be something to do with the lightweight and smaller nature of the motor. I mean, that's what's impressive about it to me, is like the fact that it even can deliver as much power. But it feels a little bit smoother than the previous year's models, and it is kind of like a more refined experience on the CX. I'm digging it. All right, guys, I'm gonna test this one out. Get past 20 here, see what happens. All right, there's 20. Shift down a little bit. Yep, it's cranking up pretty easy. There's 22. I'm gonna start going downhill, so that's cheating a little bit. Pretty easily to 22 though, before I hit that downhill, and it seemed like I was still on the way up a little bit. Let Steven catch up here. Cool, so guys, we got the smartphone hub. This is one of the newest features from Bosch this year. Steven's gonna walk us through some of the coolest features on it. They took over for COBI, that's correct? You guys bought out COBI and then basically improved on their design for this. So yeah, show us a little bit about the smartphone hub.
Yeah, Smartphone Hub is for e-bikers who want to use their smartphone as their display. And the hub allows you to have your own smartphone fully integrated into the Bosch system. So you can control the features through the display. You're getting some readouts from the system coming out through your smartphone, either visually or audioly. So lots of cool features on it. Key thing here, follow on the right, you can see us scrolling through different modes. So you have your contacts here if you wanted to make a quick phone call, send a text message over voice, that's all possible. Music, you can listen to your tunes, your audiobook, whatever. We definitely recommend using a smart helmet, something like from Sena, where you don't have the audio, right in your ears. You want to be able to hear the ambient traffic around you. And then it has a fitness function that'll show you your heart rate. If you're connected to a heart rate monitor, it works with an iPhone an Apple Watch, and it'll tell you your wattage, what you're putting in, and what sort of fitness level you're in while you're riding it, to get a great overview of calories you're burning, all of that while you're out on the road. And then finally, navigation. Navigation, you can enter a destination. For this demo, we've put Los Angeles in here. So if we leave right now, it'll show us we can get there by about 7:43, and it allows you to pick the type of route you want to take. So you put in your destination, it asks, do you want the fastest route? Do you want a more scenic route, or a quieter route, or the shortest route? And you can pick that according to what kind of ride you want to have. And then it gives you step-by-step navigation while you're out on the road. And that comes via the sound, the speaker from your smartphone or from your smart helmet if you're connected into that. Going back to here, so if we go into then the other functions like fitness, here it's going to show you your cadence, your heart rate, and the wattage. If we go out of that, you can pick which of those elements is going to be the key element you want to be focusing on the main screen. And then in your power assist levels are the same, so you use your plus minus keys and it'll tell you as you go into each one.
Insufficient range.
So it'll tell you, this knows you're navigating to Los Angeles, and it can tell from the battery status you only have 20 miles left, so it gives you that warning on how much range you have. As you go up into the higher levels, it always tells you what level you're in and then how much distance you have in that range. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell on the smartphone hub. Another thing about it is this is sort of future oriented. It has a software developer kit, which means that there are third parties who are already working on apps or functions that can connect into this. So you can already connect this in with your Strava or your Apple Health, but there's going to be more and more things that other people put together or other developers put together to get the most out of this system. We're really excited to see that developing in the future.
Could you tell us a little bit about the ping feature?
Oh yeah, there's one module that was created is called Ping, and it's still in the early stages here, but what it allows you to do is, say you get a phone call from someone who's waiting for you, or you're on your way to a friend or you're on your way home, and you get a phone call from them. You can go to this Ping function and just with the press of a button send them a pre-message that says, hey, I'm on my way, and it'll actually tell them your exact location and your estimated time of arrival. So just little things like that make that cycling experience even cooler, and connecting it to your digital world.
And then what if we don't want to use our smartphone? Are we able to do that with this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this one, previous versions didn't work so well with this, but what we've done with this one, we realize sometimes you don't want your phone right there on the display. You've got it in your pack already, or you're riding off-road and you want to make sure your phone is safe. So you can take your phone off, put it in your pocket, in your pack, and you have a small display here that takes you through the basic functions. So it'll tell you your speed, it'll tell you your battery capacity, and it'll tell you what assistance mode you're in. So yeah, it's you've got best of both with the smartphone hub.
So basically take it out of the app mode, and then it's basically a regular display.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Cool. So those are the Bosch 2020 updates that we are the most excited about at Fly Rides. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment to let us know what was your favorite update, what you're looking forward to the most to try out. Don't forget that there are other updates as well. You've got that limp home mode, so if you're tuning your motor, say goodbye to that. You've also got the Bosch 400 watt-hour power tube coming up. Those weren't covered as much in this video or at all because I really wanted to focus on the riding experience on each of these motors. Overall, I was the most impressed with the Bosch Performance Speed motor. That 75 newton meters of torque this year just gives it so much power, and then you still got the 28 mile per hour speed. I really think that's going to be a strong contender, and I'm still very stoked to try out the cargo line. And the CX this year, I think it's going to make it a lot more competitive in the electric mountain bike market. Because of the smaller size of the motor, the shorter chain stays, I think it's going to make it a lot more playful this year and a lot more competitive in the market. All right, thanks for watching, guys.